In the name of my ancestors, peace forever and always, and welcome to another edition of what I call the Reality's Temple on Earth Internet Ministry. I am the gatekeeper or the host of this program, known here on social media. Wherever you may find me, I am known as the mighty, mighty, mighty Angel Snub 7. I am also your soul brother, number 1. Well, how are we going to get this party started? Like this. I was listening to a brother, and I really don't have to mention his name, but I was listening to him talk, and it reminded me of myself when I was a younger person, maybe in my 20s. And I listened to this brother preach, and I'm studying his mindset. He is black first. He is an African, Pan-African, all this unapologetically black thing. Y'all know how that goes. And it sounds incredible to those who are listening, feeding your emotion. And I've said this before, when you are emotional, emotion does not allow proper thinking. So you're listening to somebody who has a rigid mindset. They are not able to think. They are being driven solely on emotion. And this is what you see in houses of religion. The people are not driven being able to think for themselves. They are driven by the glory and the wonderful story that is being told by the preacher or the pastor or the minister. Driven by emotion. Emotion does not allow proper thinking. So those who embrace that mindset, they limit themselves in what they can and what they can and cannot do, and they limit themselves to how far they can go. Did you hear what I just said? They limit themselves to what they can and cannot do, and they limit how far they can go, because being rigid, you are limited. The great philosopher and teacher, martial artist, the late Bruce Lee, gave a demonstration between a stick and this whip-like stick that was like a whip. The stick is solid. The stick is rigid. So it's only capable of limited movement because it's rigid. However, the stick that is elastic, able to bend. Did you hear what I said? But the stick that's able to bend like a whip is more flexible. So if you use these sticks in a fight, the one that is flexible, the probability that they will win that fight is higher because the weapon they have is flexible. Because not only can it be rigid, but it's flexible. It can bend and move all kinds of ways, while that stick that is solid is rigid. So one of the problems in the Black conscious community, Kemetic, Hebrew Israelite, Moor, Black First, Pan-African, RBG, whatever you want to call it, the severe problem that they have, and the reason why they cannot comprehend and understand Angel Snub 7 is because they are rigid in their mind. Thus, they are limited in movement. So, as you can see, it is thousands and hundreds of these persons, and you see them unable to progress because of this rigid mindset. You can't go no further. When we die, or when any animal dies, when we die, the body goes into a state of what they call rigor mortis, or being rigid post-mortem or in mortem or in death. So this is what we see. We see a bunch of people who are claiming to be alive, but it's impossible. They may be alive physically, but they are not alive mentally, because what they embrace is rigid. It is not flexible. So it's limited in what it can do. And they suffer from a dead mentality, so they suffer rigor mortis. And when something suffers rigor mortis, this means it is no longer alive. So you see the Black conscious community, and you listen to Umar Johnson and Louis Farrakhan and Tariq Nasheed, and you listen to the wisdom from Sonata TV, you are listening to the dead. You are listening to those suffering from rigor mortis, those who are rigid in the mind. The dead cannot move. The dead is stuck wherever the dead fall. And those with a rigid mindset, the only reason they move is because they are physically alive, but they cannot move mentally. Their mind is still dead. At the same time, they believe they are alive. Well, if you are alive, then why aren't you creating life? Why can't you move? Why are you having problems moving? Because you are suffering rigor mortis. The longer a body is dead, the stiffer the body gets. When a body first dies, it's flexible. You can grab the body and be able to move it all kinds of ways. But when rigor mortis sits in, then the body stiffens. So their mind has stiffened. And it takes something that is alive in order to get them to move. Again, that mindset is not going to get them anywhere. And they get angry at Angel Snub 7, of course, because I'm a reminder that they are not alive, that they are in fact, mentally dead. Because the mind is not rigid unless you force it to be rigid. The brain is always thinking. The mind is flexible. The brain is able to solve any problem that you have. But those who are in black conscious, Kemetic, all this black conscious, African, Afrocentric, this type of mindset, they force their brain to work only in a certain direction, in a certain way. So the brother, what he might say, sounds good, is all hyped up. It can inspire you, but you cannot inspire the dead. Because when your mind is rigid in thought, you have forced yourself and put upon yourself limitations when in the situation that the black man and woman or the soul brothers and sisters in America, the situation that we are in requires a mindset that is flexible, not rigid. So before the brother can even speak, I already know what you're going to talk about. Because it's been said countless times before. Before you do, I already know what you're going to do. Because you're doing the same thing that the dead, that those who are physically died, done 5,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 100 years ago. You're doing the same thing because you are just as dead as those who are now deceased. You have, your mindset is the same of those who are now gone. But that which is alive, the mind, the plan, the solutions are always changing to fit the problem. So in your death, we come up with these fictional, fantasy-like solutions, and a fantasy, fictional solution cannot solve a real problem. And because of your dead mindset, you miss out on opportunity. You miss out on help that you could get because of this rigid mindset. Because you want to be proud to be black. You want to be proud and black first. You want to be black, a label that was created by your racist conqueror that you claim that you don't like. But you proud and you unapologetically black, a race that was created by the people that put you in the condition that you're in. It makes no sense. You want to continue to carry on the ideology of the people that conquered your ancestors. And you're proud of it. I'm proud to be placed into this race when your ancestors did not refer to themselves as a race. They referred to themselves as their nation or their tribe. You refer to yourself as the race that your slave master gave to you. So how are you going to move forward when you're still a slave? Black first is slavery. Kemetic is slavery. Mortis is slavery. Hebrew is slavery. All of it is slavery. And you're rigid in your mind and you cannot progress because you are still the walking dead. You're a walking zombie, but it sounds good to you. And you're loyal to that which sounds good and is filled with fantasy and reality. But if it was real, you could move forward, but you can't, because the reality is you suffer from rigor mortis. Your mind is dead. Keep it real or nothing at all.